In the shadow of the Appalachian peaks, where the mountains swallowed sunlight and time moved with the ponderous grace of ancient stone, there once stood a village called Oakhaven. It was not a place of grand ambition, nor a hub of bustling commerce. Oakhaven was a collection of quiet lives, carved from the wilderness by generations of coal miners and their families. Picture it. The year is 1963. The air is thick with the scent of pine and wood smoke, a constant comfort. The rhythmic thud of an axe splitting kindling echoes from a backyard. Children's laughter, thin and bright, drifts from the small schoolhouse near the creek. Smoke curls lazily from stone chimneys, promising warmth against the coming autumn chill. Men, their faces etched with the dust of the mines, shuffle home as dusk paints the sky in bruised purples and oranges. Women tend to gardens, their hands calloused, their spirits resilient. Oakhaven was a world unto itself. Isolated, yes, but self-sufficient, bound by kinship and the shared hardship of the earth. They had a post office, a general store, a small church, and a single winding dirt road that connected them to the distant, indifferent outside world. Life here was predictable, hard-won, and deeply rooted. No one in Oakhaven sought to leave, and no one from Oakhaven expected to be forgotten. They believed their place in the world was as solid and enduring as the mountains themselves, and for decades it was. Then the maps began to lie. Not all at once, not dramatically, but subtly, insidiously. John Miller, a meticulous cartographer for the state's Geological Survey, was the first to notice. It was late 1966. His team was updating regional maps, verifying coordinates, cross-referencing old surveys with new aerial photographs. Miller had a habit of tracing the older, faded lines of forgotten logging trails and minor settlements, a reverence for the unseen history of the land. He pulled up the coordinates for Oakhaven, a small but clearly marked cluster on maps from the 1940s and 50s. But when he overlaid the new satellite imagery, there was nothing. Just an unbroken expanse of forest canopy. He frowned, dismissing it as a scanning error, or perhaps an old map's inaccuracy. He checked again, comparing it against a military survey from '58. Oakhaven was there, nestled precisely in a valley bend. Miller sent a junior assistant to double-check the ground data, assuming a simple oversight. The assistant returned days later, dusty and unnerved. He had driven the old logging road as far as it went, then hiked the rest of the way. He found no road leading off to Oakhaven, no sign of a village, just dense, undisturbed woods, where the old maps clearly indicated houses, a general store, and a church. Miller's concern grew into a quiet alarm. This wasn't just a misprint. A populated settlement, however small, didn't simply vanish from the landscape. He escalated the issue, and after weeks of bureaucratic inertia, a small, discreet team was finally dispatched. 2 state troopers, a geological surveyor, and a representative from the county administration. Their mission, to locate Oakhaven and ascertain the status of its inhabitants. The journey itself was a descent into increasing remoteness. The paved roads gave way to gravel, then to a barely maintained dirt track that wound deeper into the mountains. The air grew colder, the silence heavier. For miles, they saw no other vehicle, no sign of human presence. The forest pressed in, ancient and indifferent, its trees standing like sentinels guarding a secret. When they finally reached the approximate location marked on the older maps, there was a gasp, not of shock, but of profound bewilderment, because there it was, Oakhaven, not gone, as the new map suggested, but utterly, completely silent. The houses stood, weathered but intact. The church steeple pointed towards a grey sky. Smoke stained the chimneys, but there was no sound, no axe, no children's laughter, no distant rumble of mining equipment, only the rustle of leaves and the distant cry of a hawk. The team cautiously entered the village, their footsteps unnaturally loud on the packed earth. What they found chilled them to the bone, not with horror, but with a deep, existential dread. Oakhaven was not abandoned in the conventional sense. It was as if time itself had simply stopped. Inside the first home, a half-eaten meal sat on the kitchen table, a fork resting beside a plate. A kettle, still warm to the touch, sat on the stove. Clothes hung on a line in the backyard, swaying gently in the unseen breeze. In the general store, the ledger was open, a pen lying beside an unfinished entry. A child's doll lay face down in the middle of the dirt road, as if dropped in haste. The schoolhouse blackboard still bore the day's lesson, simple arithmetic. There were no signs of struggle, no overturned furniture, no broken windows, no scattered belongings, nothing to indicate a hasty departure, let alone a violent one. The livestock were gone from their pens, but there were no tracks of a large-scale movement of animals, no footprints of people leading out of the village, disappearing into the dense surrounding woods. The air itself seemed to hum with an unnatural stillness, a profound absence that spoke louder than any scream. It was a snapshot of life, suddenly paused, forever. The investigators walked through the silent streets, peering into empty homes, their voices hushed, almost reverent. The only thing missing was the people. Every single man, woman, and child of Oakhaven had simply vanished, without a trace. The official reports were vague, confused. Initial theories ranged from a mass exodus due to economic collapse to a government-mandated relocation that went catastrophically wrong, to even more outlandish notions of a cult mass disappearance. But each theory crumbled under the weight of the inexplicable details. Economic collapse? There was no evidence of hardship. Homes were maintained, food was stocked. Relocation? No government order, no transport, no new settlement found. Cult? No known group, no ritualistic signs, no bodies. A natural disaster? There was no damage, no flood, no landslide. The houses stood, the trees were intact. The only disaster was the complete and total absence of human life. With no bodies, no witnesses, and no explanation, the investigation stalled. The government, unable to account for the disappearance of an entire village, chose the path of least resistance: silence. The case was quietly classified, then buried. Oakhaven was removed from all official maps, its coordinates redacted, its existence effectively scrubbed from public record. The road leading to it was deliberately overgrown, lost to the relentless reclamation of the wilderness. Today, Oakhaven remains a phantom limb on the body of the Appalachian landscape, a place that once was, but is now simply not. A testament to the terrifying truth that some things, some entire communities, can simply cease to be. The mountains guard their secrets well, and Oakhaven's is perhaps the most profound. What happens when an entire village, its people and its history, are simply erased? The silence over that forgotten valley endures, a chilling reminder that sometimes the greatest mysteries are not about who committed a crime, but about what force can make an entire community vanish without a whisper, leaving only the ghosts of what once was, and the unsettling question that hangs heavy in the mountain air: where did they go?